Latest estimates from the Office of Emergency Services, 5 tornadoes skipped across the state, leaving a path of destruction that crossed through dozens of towns. 13 people died, 77 others were injured. Emergency officials toured the damage-stricken areas by helicopter today from Hempstead County, where the greatest loss of life and property was reported, to Forest City. Damages statewide will probably exceed $8 million, and much of the burden will be borne by the state before the federal government can help.
The federal government's policy that local government and state government will do their utmost to the maximum extent before the federal government, will step in and assist. So we'll be looking at all of these factors within the next 2 or 3 days, trying to decide whether or not we can justify asking for a federal declaration.
State officials took to the air today to assess the damages for themselves. As we mentioned earlier, Governor White was among them. Ron Gardner went along.
The destruction in southwest Arkansas is widespread and difficult to assess from the air. This poultry grower's facility near Hope was ripped apart, while several others in the vicinity appeared untouched. On the ground just south of Hope, the site of some of the worst destruction. 5 members of one family died here. Just to the west, more poultry buildings destroyed, but the twister skipped over Maddie Boyce's house, tearing the tops from the trees in her yard before touching down again across the street.
You talk to people and see what happened last night in a very short period of time, 30 seconds in some parts, when it hit, and you see the destructive force. You just have to thank God that we weren't hurt more than we were. But we'll continue to use state police and the volunteer agencies, state government, and the National Guard to help in every way that we can. As far as personal relief of the individual citizens, we're just going to have to see what the status of their insurance programs were and whether it comes within the government guidelines.
The governor went on to look at more damage and encourage more people, saying he was distressed but proud of the way Arkansans have pulled together in the wake of the worst tornado damage we've experienced in 14 years. Ron Gardner, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
This day was a disaster for the middle of America. More than 70 tornadoes and blizzard-like winds ambushed 14 states. More than 30 people dead, and the worst of it was in Paris, Texas, and Conway, Arkansas. This from Barbara Rowan.
5 to 6 tornadoes ripped through a 50-mile section of western Arkansas, killing at least 13 people. One family of 5 was crushed to death when their home caved in.
That hasn't been a problem in Arkansas so far, and state officials say local authorities have done a good job of monitoring rescue efforts and cleanup from the storm. Emergency services toured the state by helicopter today to assess the damage.
To the best of our knowledge, we had 5 tornadoes on the ground in the state of Arkansas last evening. The damage estimates at this time look as though they will exceed $8 million, some 77 people injured and 13 deaths.
McGoogan says the state will make a complete study of the damage and see if the federal government will be able to help replace the millions of dollars in lost property.
State yesterday. A tragic example of just what a tornado can do was recorded near Hope. The story